We might have just gotten one of the biggest pieces of news that we've gotten in a long while, specifically with monetization that we are possibly going to see with Sandbox for the near future. And I have a couple of other theories that I do want to talk about, which we're going to get later into the video. But otherwise, let's just get right into it. Gary has put up a commit specifically for a Steam inventory service. Now, what does this mean? This means that Sandbox Steam inventory items are going to be a thing. As shown from this image right here, there is going to be a trading market for items, specifically either seasonal, limited edition, or time-specific items. And alongside that, humanoid characters are getting clothing and accessory options just like Terry would on the avatar page. Not only that, plus this screenshot shows one of the humanoid characters sporting a scruffy beard for the first time, meaning that there are facial hair options coming for the human characters. So another piece of interesting news that we've gotten is that there is also a female body model that is being worked on by Max, as someone randomly asked today if there was going to be any sort of boobs, and Max said he is working on it. So there is going to be two different type of body types, which is male and female, that you're able to go and pick for the human characters, which is very interesting. Not only is the Steam inventory service a big aspect of it, but also Gary had put up a commit specifically for the store page checkout. So again, this is very interesting because, as we know, when it comes to a store checkout page, the only thing is you would be buying either items or, as it mentions with here, Steam Sandbox items that you're able to get for your inventory. So we're going to tie a bit more into the theories, which I have a ton here. And if you think that you have a theory that could possibly be interesting to look into, or maybe that's just what you might think, feel free to leave it down below because this is going to get pretty wild. But let's just get right into it. So first off, Steam inventory service update for Sandbox items is going to have some sort of trading market, as I mentioned earlier, specifically for items that are basically just cosmetic. Rust does also have a Steam skin market, which has a ton of skins available, and some of these skins you're able to buy up to $1,000. So it's kind of like, you know, the TF2 inventory and that entire skins market. Like majority of all these other games, the Sandbox items market through Steam makes a ton of sense, since majority of the money Facepunch makes through Rust is possibly through skins, as expansions and DLCs, as I've seen, are mostly free updates to the game. So in my opinion, I think this is completely understandable to do as one of the many ways for Facepunch to make money if Sandbox is possibly going to either go free to play or as a set price. Since not only Facepunch will be making money off of the cosmetics, it's also a good main pool of revenue that they'd use to help and pay developers who make games on an engagement basis. Now, this is something that I've talked about in a previous video long ago about the sort of theory that what is going to be a revenue option for Sandbox. And Gary also talked about this himself, which again, if you want to check that out, please feel free to check that video right here. Now we're going to go into the next theory, which is to continue off my last theory. This most likely won't be the only method that Facepunch would be focusing on, but again, who really knows? Because this was just kind of out of left field, and I personally didn't really think that this would happen, but again, makes the most sense. They're making a ton of money, most likely from Rust, and being able to do that with the skins and also being able to buy the game for a set price, that just kind of all adds up. The store checkout page confirms that these skins will be purchasable through a store in Sandbox, making the majority of the cosmetics available to players that can be used in different Sandbox games as long as they're not 100% custom model characters. A good example of this is that, let's just say like the ones that mostly everyone knows, which is like there is TTT, there is Prop Hunt, and other games like that on Sandbox currently available. Now, if Facepunch were to go out of their way to make a system, which most likely they already have, that allows you to have players to be able to use the cosmetics that players have bought through the Sandbox store in the game, that would be absolutely really cool, because that means that you would see a whole bunch of different type of pieces of clothing or cosmetics or skins that are going to be used in games that people have made or games that Facepunch has on Sandbox. So right now it's kind of a little bit more of a wild card type of time with Facepunch and a lot of these updates, because I don't know what's really happening right now except for what has been mentioned today, but this does change a lot of what is going to become a reality for Sandbox moving forward, specifically with Facepunch's initiative to push Sandbox into place to not only create revenue for the company as a game, a platform, and a game engine, but also to be able to try to deliver on its motive of paying developers for the games and creations that they make on the game, and to also fulfill that desire that Gary has always wanted to do, which was create a game that goes above and beyond Gary's Mod as a spiritual success successor. So there's a ton, and I mean a ton of questions that have to be answered. As I mentioned, it's going to get really wild because there's going to be a whole skins market for Sandbox, which again makes sense for money. But let me know what you guys think down below. I will try my absolute best to keep you guys up to date. And of course, if you want to know what's going on with Sandbox currently at the moment or some other information, please feel free to check out this video that is here up on screen. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.